everyone, welcome back to my channel. Picture this. The deafening roar of a sold-out stadium suddenly fades into the muffled rhythmic hum of a private jet cruising at 30,000 feet. Down there, on the stage, they are the God's menu icons, the world dominators, the kids who built a kingdom from a cramped basement studio. But back here, in the quiet moments between the flashing lights and the screaming fans, a different kind of power is moving. We're talking about the kind of influence that doesn't just trend on Twitter, but shifts the very gravity of the industry. Have you ever looked at the Stray Kids members and wondered not just about their talent, because we know that's limitless, but about their times value asterisk? In an industry where a single signature can rewrite a legacy, JYP Entertainment isn't just managing idols, they are protecting 8 of the most expensive assets in global music. There's a whisper traveling through the corridors of luxury brand headquarters in Paris and the high-rise offices in Seoul. Rumors of renewal clauses that look more like movie star contracts, and individual brand worths that have skyrocketed so fast it's left the accountants breathless. Is it the leader who shouldered the weight of a generation? The visual who turned the fashion world upside down with a single glance? Or the quiet genius whose every beat is worth its weight in gold? Today, we're stepping behind the heavy velvet curtains and past the staff-only signs. We're dissecting the aura, the presence, and the sheer market power of these 8 men. It's time to talk about the numbers that keep the industry up at night, and the contracts that prove Stray Kids aren't just a group anymore, they're an empire. Are you ready to see who holds the most weight in this game? Number 8. The quiet architect of a new legacy. Lee No. If you ever walk into a Gucci flagship store during a private viewing, there's this specific, heavy silence, the kind that only exists when someone with true presence enters the room. Based on the insider buzz floating around the luxury circuits of Milan and Seoul, that's exactly the atmosphere Lee No brought with him when he officially stepped into the house of Gucci as their global brand ambassador. For years, he was the hidden gem of the industry's high-fashion eyes, a dancer with a face like a sculpted masterpiece who seemed perfectly content staying in the shadows of the practice room. But as people around them often describe, there's a reason why the big players waited. It wasn't about whether he was ready, it was about whether the brand could match his sharp, unpredictable edge. Behind the scenes of those high-profile shoots, away from the frantic energy of the Dominate World Tour, there's a different side to this deal. Think about the transition from the boy who practiced until his shoes wore out to the man sitting front row at the London cruise show, draped in custom wool tailoring that looks like it was born on his skin. From behind-the-scenes impressions, the staff often mention his expensive aura not because of the price tag on his clothes, but because of the way he carries the weight of a heritage brand without letting it swallow him. There's a rumor that his contract wasn't just a simple endorsement, it was a long-term negotiation that recognized his dual power as both a world-class performer and a songwriting contributor, making his individual value skyrocket in the eyes of Kering's top executives. In the dressing rooms, while other members might be buzzing with pre-show adrenaline, you'll find him in a cloud of high-end fragrance, refined, classic, yet slightly mysterious. It's that same energy that made Gucci finally pull the trigger in mid-2025 after a year of will they, won't they appearances. This wasn't just a win for him, it was a statement to the industry that the main dancer title is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his commercial gravity. He's become a style reference for a new generation of luxury, proving that sometimes the most silent members are the ones commanding the most staggering figures behind closed doors. But if Lee No is just the beginning of this list, the foundation of this high-stakes empire, then what kind of astronomical numbers are we looking at for the names that have been at the center of the storm since day one? Number 7. The matinee who outran the expectations. IN. If you walked through the bustling, humid streets of Milan during Fashion Week in late 2024, you might have felt a shift in the air. While most were looking for the established giants, a certain desert fox was quietly preparing to steal the entire scene. We're talking about IN, the youngest, who, as people around him often describe, has undergone one of the most drastic glow-ups in K-pop history. From behind-the-scenes impressions, there was always this sense that he was a student of the game, watching, learning, and refining his taste until he wasn't just wearing clothes, he was defining them. When he stepped into the Bottega Veneta Spring/Summer 2025 show, seated between industry titans like Adollar, AP Rocky, and Kendall Jenner, it wasn't just a guest appearance. Based on insider buzz, that moment was the final handshake on a deal that shifted his market value from promising idol to global luxury powerhouse. Think about the sheer weight of that transition. One day, he's the soft-voiced maknae, and the next, he's the face of Italian craftsmanship. From the way he carries himself in those oversized, newsprint-textured silhouettes, to his recent crowning as the global ambassador for the legendary jewelry house Damiani in mid-2025, IN has become a magnet for old money brands. These aren't just endorsements, they are statements. Insider whispers suggest that his contract with Bottega Veneta was particularly lucrative because it focused on his long-term potential as a heritage face, someone who could bridge the gap between Gen Z's chaotic energy and the quiet, minimalist luxury that Bottega thrives on. When you see him in a backstage vlog, he's often in a cloud of something subtle and woody, a scent that mirrors the refined, artisanal vibe of his new brand partners. There's a rumor that during the negotiations for his 2025 deals, the competition was fierce. Other houses, like Alexander McQueen, were reportedly keeping a very close eye on him before Bottega secured the signature. His value isn't just in his face, it's in the way he's become a collector of fans who appreciate high-concept art and fashion. He has this uncanny ability to make a $5,000 leather bag look like a piece of his own soul. But here's the thing that keeps the industry talking. If the youngest of the group is already commanding front-row seats next to Hollywood royalty and signing with jewelry giants, how much higher can the stakes go for the members who have been the face of the group's sound and soul for even longer? Number 6. The golden voice wrapped in British heritage. Seungmin. If you were standing in the biting chill of London during the autumn-winter 2025 fashion circuit, you would have witnessed something that shifted the industry's perception of the quiet vocalist. While the world was busy looking at the flashier members, Seungmin was making a move that felt like a masterstroke of timing and personal branding. As people around them often describe, Seungmin has always been the standard, the reliable, grounded soul of Stray Kids. But mid-2025 changed everything. When Burberry officially announced him as their newest global brand ambassador, it wasn't just another idol brand pairing. It was a collision of two worlds that prioritize heritage, precision, and an understated kind of power. From behind-the-scenes impressions, those who work closely with him mention a specific gentleman's aura that he carries into every room. It's not loud or demanding, but it's undeniably expensive. Based on insider buzz, his contract with Burberry is rumored to be one of the most strategically significant for JYP in recent years. Why? Because Seungmin represents a clean marketability that luxury houses crave. He isn't just selling a trench coat, he's selling the image of the disciplined artist who has spent years perfecting his craft. In those quiet moments backstage, you might catch a whiff of a fragrance that leans toward the crisp, rain-kissed notes of the English countryside, a scent that perfectly aligns with the Daniel Lee era of Burberry. It's a far cry from the sweat and grit of the dance studio, yet he bridges that gap with a terrifyingly natural ease. There's a rumor that his value skyrocketed after he shut down London Fashion Week in September 2025. People were shocked not just by the crowd he drew, but by how effortlessly he fit into the legacy of a brand that has been around for over 150 years. He's become the face of trustworthy luxury. From behind-the-scenes impressions during his W Korea cover shoot in May 2025, stylists noted that he has a way of looking at the camera that feels both intimate and professional, a duality that brands are willing to pay a premium for. He has successfully moved beyond the main vocalist box and entered the realm of a global style icon whose every move feels deliberate, calculated, and incredibly valuable. He is the anchor, the one who proves that stability is sometimes the most expensive trait of all. But as we move higher into the top 5, we leave the realm of stability and enter the world of those who don't just follow trends, they ignite the very fire that burns through the industry. Number 5. The iron heart of the industry's Jude. Changbin. If there's one member who defines the spine of Stray Kids' market value, it's the man whose name is synonymous with integrity. We're talking about Changbin. In early 2026, the industry isn't just looking at him as a rapper, they're looking at him as a movement. Based on insider buzz that's been circulating since his massive Samsung Galaxy campaign in 2023, Changbin has become the face of a very specific, high-value archetype, the self-made powerhouse. While other idols were chasing the delicate aesthetics of high fashion houses, Changbin leaned into his jade, his strong principles, and it paid off in a way that left the industry stunned. From behind-the-scenes impressions during the filming of the Dominate World Tour documentary, there's a legendary aura that surrounds him in the studio. Staff often describe a scent of cold espresso and expensive, worn-in leather, the smell of someone who spends 20 hours a day building an empire from a keyboard. This producer idol status is exactly what makes his contract figures so staggering. Rumors from the financial side of the industry suggest that when it came time for his individual negotiations heading into 2025 and 2026, his value wasn't just tied to his stage time, but to his intellectual property. Every produced by 3 Racha tag on a global chart topper like Karma or Skade Chop Hip adds another zero to his personal worth. He's not just an employee, he's an architect. But the real shocker came in the fashion world, where many thought his muscular build wouldn't fit the traditional mold. They were wrong. As people around them often describe, brands like Diesel and Autry began circling him in late 2025, recognizing that he commands a demographic that fashion usually struggles to reach: the confident, the authentic, and the intensely loyal. Insider whispers mention a private meeting in Tokyo where a major sportswear giant reportedly offered a deal that would make him the highest-paid male idol in the fitness lifestyle sector. He has turned intensity into a currency. When you see him backstage, laughing with the members or intensely monitoring the soundboard, you're looking at a man who knows exactly what he's worth. He doesn't need to shout it, his presence does the talking. He's become the gold standard for idols who want to own their narrative and their bank accounts. But as we break into the top 4, we're moving away from the studio and back into the blinding glare of the spotlight, where a certain ace has been quietly collecting some of the most prestigious and mysterious contracts in the history of the 4th generation. Number 4. The enigmatic ace of the creative high ground. Han. If you want to understand the true mystery of the Stray Kids economy, you have to look at Han. He is the member who, for the longest time, seemed to purposely stay away from the traditional idol brand game. While others were flying to Paris or Milan, Han was often seen tucked away in his sanctuary, the studio usually wearing an oversized hoodie and a pair of beat-up sneakers. But as 2025 rolled into 2026, the industry finally realized that Han wasn't avoiding the spotlight. He was waiting for the spotlight to catch up to his specific, chaotic brilliance. Based on insider buzz that began to peak during his GQ Korea January 2026 digital cover, Han has entered a tier of marketability that is purely about artistic cool. From behind-the-scenes impressions, there is a specific scent that follows him, a mix of a heavy, niche fragrance like Dior Sauvage and the ozone smell of a high-tech recording booth. This is a man who holds more than 150 Comca credits, and from what people around them often describe, that is where his real contractual power lies. Rumors suggest that in the group's latest contract renewals, Han's individual terms were uniquely focused on his intellectual property and creative freedom. His worth isn't just in his face on a billboard, it's in the DNA of the songs that generate millions of dollars in royalties every single quarter. When he collaborated with Balenciaga for Days Korea in early 2025, it sent shockwaves through the industry because it was so unexpected. It was a handshake deal that whispered of something much larger, the idea that Han is the muse for brands that value edge over elegance. But the real game changer was his 2026 partnership with Hoka. It wasn't a typical high fashion deal, and that's exactly why it was so expensive. Insider whispers suggest that the deal was structured around Han's authentic lifestyle, the running to the studio energy, making it one of the most successful vibe-based marketing campaigns of the year. He has managed to turn his introversion and his homebody reputation into a premium brand. He is the ace who doesn't need to try. And that effortless aura has made him a target for brands that want to buy a piece of his genius. He is the dark horse who, without ever making a loud announcement, has built a financial fortress that rivals the biggest names in the business. But as we move into the top 3, we leave the studio behind and enter the territory of the global faces, the ones whose names are literally etched into the glass of luxury boutiques from New York to Tokyo. Number 3. The Australian sun warming the heart of Italian elegance. Bang Chan. If you could walk into the Fendi headquarters in Rome, right as the golden hour hits those travertine arches, you'd understand the kind of gravity we're dealing with here. Since late 2024, the leader who built Stray Kids from a dream in a notebook has become the face of one of the world's most storied fashion houses. But as people around them often describe, Bang Chan didn't just sign a contract, he joined a family. Based on insider buzz, his partnership with Fendi, which officially kicked into high gear for their 100th anniversary celebrations in 2025, is one of the most comprehensive and high-value deals JYP has ever navigated. This isn't just about wearing a logo, it's about a leader who commands respect, being paired with a brand that defines it. From behind-the-scenes impressions during his visits to Italy, staff often whisper about his CEO energy. While the other members are the face of the music, Chan is the engine, and Fendi recognized that. Rumors suggest his contract includes clauses that extend far beyond standard photo shoots, involving creative consultations and exclusive friend of the house access that few idols ever touch. Think about the vibe. It's the smell of high-grade, buttery leather mixed with the sharp, clean scent of expensive cologne and the metallic tang of a late-night recording session. He is the man who can fly halfway across the world for a fitting and be back in the studio by dawn. Insider whispers from the 2025 Fendi Men's Show mentioned that the brand's executives were particularly enamored with his ability to speak the language of global influence, not just as a star, but as a producer who understands how to build a legacy. There's a legendary story floating around the industry about a specific piece of custom Fendi gear he wore during the Dominate tour, a piece so intricately crafted and valuable that it had its own security detail. That's the level we're talking about. His value is tied to his role as the father of the group, making him the ultimate choice for brands that want to project stability, vision, and a touch of Australian warmth. But as we enter the final two, the atmosphere changes. We're moving from the boardroom of the leader to the two members who have literally turned the global Fashion Week circuit into their personal playground. If Chan is the one who built the house, who are the two who are currently setting the entire world on fire?
Number 2. The Baroque Prince and the Jewel of the Crown, Hyunjin. If you've ever seen a lightning bolt strike in the middle of a calm night, you know the kind of electric shock Hyunjin has delivered to the luxury industry. By early 2026, the man often called the Versace Prince hasn't just maintained his status. He has expanded his reign into territory that few idols ever dare to tread. Based on insider buzz that started echoing louder after the Versace Fall Winter 2025 show in Milan, Hyunjin's contract isn't just a partnership. It's a synergy that has redefined what a global ambassador can be. We're talking about a level of commitment where Donatella Versace herself personally oversees his tour wardrobe, creating custom, hand-stitched pieces for the Dominate Stadium stages that are rumored to cost more than some people's entire apartments. From behind-the-scenes impressions at the high jewelry galas in Seoul and Singapore, there's a specific, intoxicating aura that follows him, the scent of rare roses mixed with the metallic, cold edge of white gold. This brings us to the real jaw-dropper of his portfolio. His 2024 to 2025 appointment as the global brand ambassador for Cartier. Insider whispers suggest that this deal was a tectonic shift in the industry's power dynamics. By joining the Cartier family, Hyunjin entered the ranks of legends like Jisoo and V, becoming the first fourth-generation male idol to hold two big pillar contracts, Versace for fashion, Cartier for jewelry. Simultaneously, people around them often describe the negotiations for the Cartier deal as intense, with the brand seeking someone who could embody the panthère, spirit fierce, elegant, and impossible to look away from. But the most staggering detail? Rumors suggest that his individual market value in 2026 has been boosted by a loyalty and exclusivity clause that makes him one of the highest-paid male faces in Asia. Whether he's walking through a sea of paparazzi in a purple leather coat or quietly sketching in his hotel room, everything he touches turns into a viral, high-value moment. From behind-the-scenes impressions, staff mentioned that his presence at Cartier events has a media impact value that rivals Hollywood A-listers, often hitting the multi-million-dollar mark within just 24 hours of an appearance. He has become a living canvas for the world's most expensive art. But as we stand at the threshold of number 1, there is one name left, the one who didn't just join the world of luxury, but seemingly became the very pulse of it. Who could possibly top the prince? Number 1. The angelic titan of the luxury universe, Felix. If you could bottle the exact moment a superstar becomes a legend, it would smell like the crisp, ozone-rich air of a Paris runway mixed with the soft, ethereal scent of expensive suede and white musk. We are finally here, at the summit. And in 2026, there is no name that carries more weight in the global luxury market than Felix. As people around them often describe, Felix isn't just a brand ambassador. He has become the ultimate muse for the largest fashion house on the planet. Based on insider buzz that has been intensifying since his historic runway debut, Felix's relationship with Louis Vuitton is no longer just a contract, it's a partnership that has rewritten the rules of the K-pop economy. From behind-the-scenes impressions during his recent trip to Avignon for the Cruise 2026 show, there is a level of reverence for him that goes beyond typical celebrity treatment. Rumors from the inner circles of LVMH suggest that Felix's current contract is one of the most lucrative individual deals ever signed in the history of the fourth generation. Why? He is the crowning jewel of the Stray Kids empire, a boy who turned his unique traits into the most expensive assets in the world. Who do you think is the most handsome of the 8 members of Stray Kids? Please share your answer in the comments section. That's all from me. See you again.